Hi guys, it's Claire Matara from the Peruvian Amazon. It's the 8th of February here, 2020. Recently did a video about pendulums and crystals and altars and stones, and I want to take that a little bit further. What can be used as a pendulum? Mostly what is used is something metal, needle, like a key or a ring, tied to a string or a fine chain, and of course the crystals. The crystals are my choice because of their elegance and responsiveness. But in emergency, a key or needle or wedding ring can be used. Don't think that pendulums always give correct answers. There are good reasons to doubt yourself, especially in the first 2 years. Don't forget that people sometimes get very impressed and influenced by tarot and pendulum work, so be very careful that you are kind and reserved. The worst scenarios can be completely figurative or abstract, and you can upset or frighten people unnecessarily. This is bad karma for the reader and maybe the reason why the scriptures warn against it. There it is called necromancing, which is a nasty word. Maybe it means romancing corpses, which in other fortune-telling methods was used since the dawn of time. Priests would tell the future from the way a sacrifice, animal or human, would spill their blood or their guts. Very unsavory stuff, but often used when big decisions were to be made, like going to war or getting married. Sometimes those things are similar. So don't expect these pendulum movements to be the truth. Be very cautious and practice by yourself, and on close friends who are willing to give it a go. You can work with a friend and do it for each other. That would also be okay. In the beginning, I always checked things 3 ways. I wrote the question that I wanted to ask. I checked with the pendulum and wrote it down, wrote the answer down. I threw some coins, usually 3 at once, and wrote that down, head or tail. I checked my body reflexes and wrote that down. I may have taken some angel cards and wrote that down, then I compared the answers and wrote that down. So yeah, studying yourself, studying this work is a very good way to do it, so you can become conscious of what you're doing and how it, over time, how it actually manifests in your life. So that's why, for me, the diaries were invaluable, because when there were certain issues that I wanted to check on later on, it was good to have the readings there. The coins are related to the I Ching that I consulted for the first 20 years of my decision making. There is a lot to study in the I Ching. It's an old Chinese way of fortune telling and fills many books of interpretations. So here's an excellent way of studying and learning. And the Ching is sometimes very vague. It can be hard to fully understand it, but it is certainly interesting. Because the thing with the fortune telling never is completely black and white. That's really what you have to be cautious about, and also what you feel in your own heart. That is very important. In that way you learn patience and compassion when you encounter pigs and fishes. People who don't understand you or listen to you. That's the way the Ching calls people who don't understand you or don't listen to you, pigs and fishes. So if you are trying to do any fortune telling, don't take it lightly. It is serious stuff and can influence people, and you don't want bad karma or insanity. Proceed with baby steps. The other thing is, who or what are you channeling? Because when you ask spirits to help you, you will be channeling them to some extent. Sometimes it can be to the point where you don't remember what you told clients. This is serious also. Allow them to tape the session. Take notes, be responsible, and answer any fears and questions, and don't proclaim to say the truth. Say that from the beginning. They have to constantly go back to their own heart, how they feel, what they feel is right for them. They have to be responsible for their lives, and you can't just take responsibility for people with a bit of pendulum work. You are not perfect, you're not God conscious, and you need to make it clear that people engage in this because they want to. And even more, if they are paying for this, they do it because they want to. Have your altar close by. You can activate your altar or the reading space by with natural tobacco smoke or smudging. You can burn a candle to purify subtle energies. Be sensitive to spirits that present themselves, which often are dead people, like grandparents, unborn babies, miscarriages of them or their parents, like unborn siblings. All these can accompany a client and need to be addressed. Another type of spirit can be friends who overdosed and suicides. These are not usually very helpful but need to be identified and addressed. To handle all this type of activity, live a godly life. Pray to your master or whoever you consider to be your leading inspiration. The Christ spirit is of course the best in my understanding. I started doing this work because I felt a calling to do it and had many signs that it was part of my destiny. I think that doing this work just to make money or cheat people is very dangerous. Unfortunately, many clients, like people, don't want to accept their destiny and struggles and look for sweet answers, which is making things worse. Our lives are those to bring our lives are there to bring us consciousness. It is a teaching, a challenge to do better, to be resourceful and creative, to clear us of past misdeeds, to learn to love God in all. Okay, let's go back to the pendulum to finish this story. I think it is good to rest your elbow on the table, like so, or you will get too tired if you work for a while. I hold the string by the hematite bead. I'll just show that. There's my pendulum. There's the hematite bead. Yeah. I'm looking for my line. To disperse the currents that are going through me while reading. But in the beginning that is not really so important because you're not going to do such heavy work that you are going to have to defend yourself and protect yourself a great deal. But it's always worthwhile being conscious of that, so not to overdose yourself with this strange electricity that runs through the readings. I hang the pendulum over one of my special stones, which are connected to my altar. You can, but in the field, when you can use your other hand as a platform for reading, so you can read over your hand, like that. Yeah, you can read over your hand. And the left hand is usually the receiving hand and the right hand is usually the active hand. Especially if you are asking only for yourself. You can write words on a piece of paper, concentrate on them and ask while holding your pendulum over that. I also want to mention here that it's very important to not desire anything while you're asking questions, because your very desires can actually influence and they might not be the correct desires. So it's always really important to be very open and have your mind a clean blank slate. Try to do that before you start, so that you can't start to throw your own ideas into it, because that's really incorrect. And just clean your mind and not desire things for anybody or for yourself. The Buddha warns against it, and it is really not a good thing to do, because the future may be much better than what they are actually hanging on to. So if they say, I want this woman to come back, or I want my husband to come back, it may be for the best that they are separated and something much better may be waiting, even though they cannot see that at the time. So very important not to wish or desire in any way, just be very open to whatever comes. I usually prepare myself to receive the currents, like take my shoes off and connect to the floor with my bare feet. It's helpful to wear cotton clothes or linen clothes. These will allow the energies to pass through you. This is why it's good to wear commercial ceremonial robes or clothes, mostly to channel energies in and out of your body easily. Bands and ornaments can constrict and impede, so as simple as possible is good. Just as simple as possible is good. Unless you have some jewelry of natural special stones that help you, like mine. Amethysts. Don't bother with jewelry, watches and bands while you are reading. You may, however, wear a cap which can protect with a bit of smoke or Palo Santo or cologne. This will deter negative spirits from entering your body while you are working. Be conscious of aches and pains in your own body. That may be a message from your client. Check with them if this is to do with the reading. Cold shower afterwards or a clearing ritual may be necessary depending on what work you've been doing. Your hair can pick up stuff. Don't forget to clear it. Work in a clean space. Keep your work separate from cooking and entertaining. Don't let others use your divining space or your seat. But you can do a little clearing if this happens. A bit of cologne, agua florida, mapacho smoke, the sign of the cross, the holy names, a banishing ritual in serious cases. So afterwards, change your clothes. Don't wear them unless they have been washed. Since my house is also an Airbnb space, I have a lot of house rules, maybe ridiculous to some. For me, it's important that guests or clients are not drunk on alcohol or some altering substance, no marijuana or drugs also. The ayahuasca is only for the ceremonial space and time when I do different preparations for the ceremony. I have a curfew of 10:30 p.m. to be inside your room because this is a good time for slowing down your mental activities and relax, meditate, read your book, watch your videos or write your notes. Since I also live in the same house, I need this routine. If other people are busy, I can't concentrate and I get disturbed. I think it is different for everybody, but respect yourself and communicate your needs and wishes. Then others can also feel respected. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for listening. Until another time. Bye.